Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Bleeding Blueshirts. John Giannone, Steve Valiquette, as we set the stage for Game 4 on Tuesday night. Rangers and Lightning coming off of a Sunday, Steve-O, where, boy, at 2-0, it looked for all the world like it was right in the Rangers' hands and in their laps. But we've often talked about how 2-0 can be the most dangerous lead in sports and certainly in hockey, and it ends up being such.
You know, John, you sleep on this one and you wake up and you realize, you know what, boys, we've been here before. When the Rangers lost Game 1 against Carolina, John, I thought that was going to come back and burn them. I really did. I thought that was the series. And the player in me can't forget the hard losses. I had them, right? I had one in the American Hockey League in Game 1 against the Chicago Wolves in the AHL Final, where we have a face-off in the neutral zone with 3.5 seconds left. They come back, score, tie it, we lose in overtime. We knew in the locker room that was the series.
Yeah.
When Buffalo in 07 scored the Drury goal with 7 seconds left, we knew when that went in and lost in overtime, that was the series. You know these things as a player. So now as an analyst, I can only imagine what the players had to overcome after losing that Game 1 in Carolina. And when you lose Game 3 in Tampa the way you do, at least it's not the first time. You've been there before, you know how to recover from it, you talk yourself out of it, and then you figure out a way, because at the end of the day, John, it wasn't a bad performance. I know it got away from them, but overall, apples to apples, you can say we went in and gave them a game. That was their best game by far, but we're in a series, and I think that the players would at least have the confidence to talk to one another and say, guys, we're going to be okay. Let's settle back in and play our game in Game 4.
Most of the talk after Game 3, Steve, from the Rangers' perspective, was about the PK, which had been 16 of 17 before this series and now has given up 3 in the last 2 games. Are you seeing something either lacking in the Rangers' penalty kill or something specific about Tampa's power play that needs to be addressed for Game 4?
Well, right, and I hear you, but at the same time, I mean, was the Kucherov goal one that Shesterkin would like to have back? As a goalie, yeah. I mean, it was fun working with Marty Biron because he said, every time I hear that, I want to say, what are you talking about? I wanted to have everyone back.
Right, exactly.
Right? But, you know, honestly, Shesterkin would look at the video there, and I know that he would say to himself, I took the wrong path, because his foot hit the post, it jarred him, it lifted his knees up from the ice, and the puck slid through. Came off a little funny from Kucherov's stick. Point being, we know how important it is to have great goaltending on a PK. They go hand in hand. When I look at the chances, it's not that bad. It's not like they're getting hemmed in with high danger against. So I'm not gonna, I'll take a step off of that one. And I think as the players would know, they're playing their way. They have the right people on the PK to fix it. And I don't think it's gonna be a long-term concern.
All right, Rangers had practice on Monday. Ryan Strome didn't participate, but Gerard Gallant afterwards said he expects him to be a go for Game 4. Just speak to his importance. We've seen so many opportunities, golden, not converted, but Strome's not all about scoring a goal. And speak to his presence and what his absence did to the Rangers in Game 3.
Yeah, number one, it starts in the locker room with Strome, a guy like Reeves, having Goudreau there, Mott. I mean, you have these older statesmen on a very young team. It's still the youngest team in the playoffs. Now that there's 4 teams left, it was the youngest team in the playoffs when there was 16 teams when it all began. You need these guys for maybe just lowering the volume and the temperament sometimes when it gets a little crazy. When everybody else is losing their head, you need to have somebody to be able to stay up and cool the room. But with that said, I didn't get to expand on this in the postgame, but when I made my calls before the series began, talked to some coaches from teams that had played in recent playoff series against Tampa, and they said that when you compare the Rangers to Tampa and you're looking at the power play, one of the most underrated players of both teams on the power play is, in fact, Ryan Strome. And part of the reason why this person said that was because he's always a safety. He's always communicating, and he's always in a position as an outlet. So these are important, right? Like, they oftentimes get overlooked, John, because we want everybody to score out there. But what you have to do on the power play is keep it alive. So when the play is going to a corner and you've got 2 of their guys on 1 of yours, where does Ryan Strome go as an outlet so that you can just ring it around the wall? He can keep it back and play. You quickly get in your setup. He also said he's really important to get in zone, through the neutral zone, taking the right paths So it's a lot of things that I think sometimes we may overlook, but his importance as a right-handed shooter in the position that he plays on the power play is key. Hopefully he's available at 100%. He's going to be hurt like everybody else at this stage of the postseason, but having him back in there is going to really help settle things down.
And as Marty Biron pointed out, his absence in game really impacted ice times of guys like Mott and Reeves, and then even Lafreniere and Kakko, because they were down a centerman, so everybody else had to chip in, and that sort of impacted Gerard Gallant's ability to roll four lines, and that had an ultimate impact on the game. All right, so Stevie, when you break it all down, and I know you've done a lot of work on Monday, Sunday night and Monday after Game 3 into Game 4, what are the most important elements that you spotlight for what the Rangers need to do, and what is just a crucial swing game? 3-1 versus 2-2 against the two-time champions is massive.
You know what I thought was really indicative of the team mindset was John Cooper's post-game comment where he said we stuck to the recipe. Right. What was the recipe? You know, that was my first thought this morning, is what was the recipe? How did they execute it? Why did it work? They took a lot of shots at Igor Shesterkin, right? So there was a physical element.
Yeah.
There was a physical element. Now, there was also 52 shots in this game, but only 6 were high danger, okay? Why only 6? 38 low danger. What did they do? Here's what I got out of this game. They shot everything with the purpose to extend zone time, retrieve the puck, have long stays in the Rangers' defensive zone, so they're working, they're getting worn down. What occurred after that? More penalties were taken. Trouba's got 3 minors. Guys are getting tired. You start reaching instead of skating, and you bring people down. How do you help yourself? Talked a little bit about this in postgame. How well, and this is the hard part, and John, you know from men's league, you're a defenseman. When the shot comes to your net, you've got your back to the goaltender. They have the advantage to retrieve the puck. That's the problem. How quickly can the Rangers turn, pivot, get to where the puck is, get there first, win that battle, and then get out of the zone? That's going to be the key. This is the hard part about the game right now, because when I'm looking at the 38 low danger shots that Tampa took, they're off the blocker. They're hard on the ice off the pads. These are shots that Igor Shesterkin can't control. It's parts of the body where he doesn't have the ability to catch it or absorb it. So it's a live puck. And you know what it works out like, John? It looks like a miniature forecheck for Tampa Bay. Right. They've got a small forecheck coming off of that. And I know the theory behind it. I've talked to many people about this. The theory is that you are building a goal. You recover it, and it's really on the 3rd or 4th recovered puck that you're able to break down the other team's box and then hit seam passes. Now, 6 high danger chances doesn't account for much for the Tampa Bay side. I'm just wondering how much can the Rangers get out of their zone just a little bit quicker so the impact physically doesn't wear on them, because it's 43 seconds left, you're giving up a goal, and maybe that's just the wear and tear of the game.
Yeah. And then obviously spend more time in the offensive zone. That takes away some of the pressure in your own zone. It's going to be interesting, fascinating, and we'll all be on the edge of our seats for Game 4 on Tuesday night. Stevie, looking forward to it. It's a huge opportunity for the Rangers to bring the series back home with the chance to end it. Looking forward to seeing you, bud.
Got to get the split.